So this is a video I have been excited to make for a very long time. So about a month ago, or maybe a little bit more than that, I made a video talking about NEVS and the future of the Saab brand in cars. And I said that when the NEVS 9.3 was officially released, I would be doing a follow-up video on that. So now it has been released. It was released a couple days ago at an auto show in Asia. So let's go ahead, talk about all the features that we know of so far, and see what we think about the car. So about a week before the car was slated to be released, a couple pictures were leaked online of the car. So we pretty much knew what it looked like on the outside, at least, before the car was actually released. And you can definitely see from the NEVS 9.3 at least that it shares a lot of body lines and similar design to the newest 9.3. The front certainly looks a bit different, but if you check out the back is what I really like about this car. So the back, it's still got similar shaped taillights. You can see the shape of the back bumper, the body lines, everything is very similar to the 9.3. I like how you've got that light bar going the whole way across, similar to the last generation 9.5. I think that'll look really sweet. It's got LED lights and everything. Of course, for those of you who don't know, NEVS is an electric car company based out of Sweden and China. They have about 3,000 employees, about half and half between Sweden and China. And this car will be made for the Swedish and Chinese markets, at least to start. I mean, if they have a lot of success, they might expand to other countries, which would be absolutely amazing, but for now, it's just Sweden and China. So again, it's all electric, which electric cars are the way of the future. Sad to say for all the car enthusiasts out there who like gasoline-powered engines, they're not the way of the future anymore. Electric cars are going to be taking over, and we can see that they already are starting to take over. So NEVS is smartly taking the electric car path, and we don't really know how much power, what size battery. I couldn't really find that anywhere, but it is projected to have a range of 186 miles. Now, when you compare that to other electric cars like Tesla, some of the new Chevy or GM electric cars, it's definitely less than a Tesla, but this car is going to cost half as much as a Tesla, maybe even less. So when you think about it, having less range would make sense. And 186 miles, I mean, that's still plenty of range to get to and from work every day or even go on a small road trip. So the NEVS 9.3 and 9.3X, I'm sort of talking about both here. They're going to have some other nice features as well. They'll have Wi-Fi, over-the-air software update capabilities, so similar to Tesla where you can just update your car, literally like you would update your phone, which is so cool. You can control it via your smartphone, so I'm guessing something similar to the Tesla remote control app where you can literally summon the car, I think is what they call it, and it'll literally drive up to you and open the door and you can get in and drive away. And I don't think it has any self-driving capabilities, although they did release a concept, I believe it's called like the InMotion, which it's really weird and I actually really like it. It's basically a room on wheels and it's self-driving, but nothing is really known about this yet. It's just a concept, something that if it did come out wouldn't be for a few years, so we're not going to talk too much about that. The 9.3X does have some very weird fog lights down at the bottom. I don't like those at all, to be completely honest with you. But the white paint, we haven't seen this car in any other color besides white, but I think white looks really, really good on this car. Of course, it does also have new wheels from NEVS. I do like these wheels. The ones that they showed are like half silver, half black. But I think they look really nice, really great size, probably 18 or 19 inches is my guess. And it even does have some Saab parts in it. So if we move on to the interior, which the interior in this car is absolutely amazing. I love the interior of this car from all the shots that I've seen. So it of course does have the start and stop button down by the gear selector. Perfect. It does have some weird shaped cup holders that look way too small to fit anything in them. Down by the center console, not really a big fan of that. The light switch down on the left of the steering wheel is the exact same part out of the 9.3, and also the door handles and the door panels as a whole look extremely similar to the 9.3. So looking at actual pictures of the interior, in one of the cars, so they had both the 9.3 and the 9.3X there. One of them had a white interior and one of them had a tan interior, or like a brownish leather interior. So I want to talk about the brown leather interior because that just looked phenomenal. But I mean, just looking at this interior with this brown leather, it's got a brown leather wrapped steering wheel. It even looks like the gear selector has some brown leather on it too, which is just, that's one of my favorite things. I saw that and I'm like, wow, that's like Mercedes quality. Like, that is some good quality shit right there. The seats also have a nice white stripe on them, which I think is a nice touch. That way they're not just all one color. Maybe for the production car, there won't be all that black because you kind of just have the brown steering wheel and seats and gear selector and then everything else is black. So that looks a bit odd. It looks like it's got an all digital gauge cluster. I know it has 2 big dials versus the 3 that the 9.3 had, where you had the big speedometer and then the RPM and then your fuel, turbo, and temperature gauge. But I personally do like the 2 gauge design better. And of course it's also got an infotainment screen right in the middle, which is a perfect size in my mind. I don't know too much of the functions about it yet because NEVS is still holding back a lot of the details, unfortunately, until it does get closer to production. So from what I can see, this car is very close to what the production car will look like. One thing that definitely will change though, and one thing that I think is sort of stupid, is the mirrors. From what I can see, it doesn't even have side mirrors. It just has like some sort of camera. That's obviously going to have to change into an actual mirror. But outside of that, I mean, everything else looks like it's production ready. The cars look great. They are going to be producing about 150,000 of these as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure how many of those are going to be 9.3s and how many will be 9.3Xs. I'm sure it all just depends on what the companies that ordered these cars want. So the 9.3X is supposed to be more of an SUV than a hatchback. When it was designed as a Saab 9.3X, it was much more of a hatchback in my mind than like a crossover. But they have definitely converted it into more of a crossover. It's a bit higher off the ground. Looks like it's just a bit bigger of a car altogether. It definitely looks like more of a crossover than a hatchback now. So I'm not sure if there's really any different trim levels that will be offered when this car is ready to sell. They haven't talked too much about that yet. They haven't really said anything because, you know, they're still holding back a lot of information, which is a bit annoying. I don't know if this car will have a frunk because some electric cars, mainly looking at Tesla here, they have both a front trunk called a frunk and a rear trunk. So I'm not sure if the 9.3 or 9.3X will have 2 trunks or if it'll just have the big one in the back. Also, we don't know if it's front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive. Although I would assume that that would be an option. They might offer it in all-wheel drive. So yeah, that's pretty much all that we know about the NEVS 9.3 so far. Overall, I do really like the car. I think I'll end up loving the front of it. I'm not too in love with it yet, but the back end is definitely my favorite part of both cars. I really do like the wheels that they displayed as well, and the white paint looks great too. The interior is also great quality, especially with that leather. I mean, I think that's just really nice. I'm really impressed with that interior. But other than that, just those few technology features that I also mentioned, such as Wi-Fi, updating the car software-wise over the air, remote control via your smartphone. Now, I don't know if that is the Summon, now that I think about it. That might not be like the Tesla Summon. It might just be like you can use a smartphone app as your key. I'm not sure really. It doesn't say anything more than remote control via smartphone, so I'm not really sure. But regardless, this is certainly an exciting car, and as more information comes out, I will certainly be updating you guys on this. I hope you all enjoyed this video, found it interesting and informative. If you do want to read some articles online, just search NEVS 9.3 and plenty of stuff will pop up if you want to see some more pictures and stuff like that. And one more thing before this video ends, I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Daniel, who sent me this sticker all the way from Sweden that says "Straight out of Trollhättan," which is awesome. I love that. I'm not sure where I'll put that on the car yet, but it's definitely going on there because I think that's really cool. So thank you for that, Daniel. If you are interested in watching the NEVS video I made about a month ago where I talk more in depth about the company and what their plan is with the 9.3 and 9.3X, I will link that at the top of the description, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. But that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.